is your girl Amber. I am back with another video. This time we are going to get into a little bit of astrology. Now, your girl is no astrologer. I am just obsessed with astrology. I love the moon, I love the planets, and I just love the science as it is, but I love to use it as a personal tool to just be aware, to provide like an extra layer of awareness so that when certain things happen, I'm not completely out of the loop. I am a Sag sun. I'm just a Sag girl. I have a Sag stellium. So I seek information, I seek understanding, I seek truth. And astrology is just one of those sciences or practices that really help me figure out and understand things a little bit more deeply. So I have my notes here, so I'm going to be looking at my computer, but I really feel like I've been examining all the shit that's been going down, so I just wanted to share and maybe some predictions to see what might happen based on this. So we're going to get into Saturn, but also Saturn retrograde in Aquarius that's happening right now. So Saturn is a complicated planet, right? Like, it's ruled by this heavy masculine energy, and he's often referred to as the father of the planet because of the lessons that he comes to bring. He brings stability in our lives. So we all know that for stability, he reminds us that we have to be disciplined. Like, certain rules need to be followed, certain things need to be in order. We need to have keyword structure. Like, that is what Saturn comes to bring. It comes to bring structure in our lives, and Saturn provides an understanding of the future. So we may not have the foresight to understand what's going on now, but Saturn is like, I'm already hip, I'm just giving you these tools, I'm just kind of giving you these breadcrumbs, and you have to follow it so that you can steer in the path, so that your shit is not rocky. Essentially. So with Saturn, like, our wants are irrelevant because our needs come to the forefront, and Saturn already knows what we need, so that's a top priority. So there's this huge sense of like restriction that we feel and discomfort that occurs when major Saturn planets come into play, specifically when Saturn is retrograding like it is now. So that energy just kind of embodies tough love for me. Like, I'm sorry, I know that this makes you super uncomfortable, but I don't give a fuck because this is what you need. Like, that is Saturn. I don't give a fuck because this is what you need. Just listen to me. My dad used to always be like, just trust me. Just trust me. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. And that is Saturn. Because Saturn does know. So because of the energy is tough love, it's focused on laying down the foundation and setting a clear path so that we can stay committed, and all we have to do is follow through. Once we follow through, like, we're all set. And Saturn is ruled by time. So sorry I'm looking at my computer so much, but this is what it is. Saturn is ruled by time. So if you're someone that like seeks instant gratification, whether you're just like, well, I just put in the work, so I need to be rewarded. That's not how Saturn operates. Saturn focuses on longevity, and we understand that certain seeds need to be planted, and certain maintenance needs to be done, and certain things have to be in order. It has to be the right season. We can't just be planting things in the fucking winter, because we know that the way that the environment is set up, our garden or our farm is not going to be able to flourish. So though we get really excited about doing things or wanting to receive gratification for certain things, with Saturn it's a little bit irrelevant, because it's just like, yes, but it needs to be the right time. It needs to be the right time. You're definitely going to find yourself really irritated if you're one of those people that just likes to see immediate results, because that's just not what it's about. But also, like, if you revolve your whole life on time, like, I need to do this by, I need to have this done, I need to have my book written by, let's say, 3 months. Saturn is going to be like, yeah, that's cool, that's super enthusiastic, but yeah, there's going to be certain things that you need to experience in order for your book to be its greatest. So instead of 3 months, it's actually going to be 3 years. And of course that's going to cause some frustration, because you have all of these plans. We have all of these plans set in order, but just Saturn knows what he's talking about. So Saturn reminds us that like long-term change and sustainability, it often takes time to build. So it's kind of like that Knight of Pentacles energy. Like, here's an offering, here's an opportunity, but it has to be nourished. There's certain things that need to be done in order for it to really mature. So because of that, Saturn transits likely like this, like the Saturn retrograde, it will affect us over the course of the next couple of months, but we're really talking about change within the next 2 to 3 years. Like, so with Saturn retrograde, certain things, certain seeds might be planted now, but those things won't grow and evolve and mature or actually be put into order. Because I'm also feeling like bills might be passed or certain things like that. Like, those things are not going to happen as soon as possible, but the conversation and like the initiation is going to happen now. So Saturn basically says, like, if this is what your soul needs, then you need to experience X, Y, and Z in order to get there. So we know that what we need to have a stable life often forces us to make these deep shifts in our life that may feel foreign to our normal routine. So because of that, astrologically speaking, like, Saturn is that planet of limitation and restriction. And the Saturn tarot connects to the World card because it's about completion, it's about culmination, but it's also about connectedness. It's about connection to the world. It's about finalizing things for ourselves, but knowing that the work that we're doing for ourselves is greater. It serves for a greater purpose than just us. It serves for the purpose of the collective, for the world. So let's talk about Aquarius. Like, Saturn retrograde is in the sign of Aquarius, right? So Aquarius are focused on the future. Like, if you know any Aquarius peoples, like, you already know that, like, some of the shit that they say can be really left hand. Or just like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, you probably say that a lot to your Aquarius friends. Like, where the fuck do you get this shit from? Because they're innovative. Like, Aquarius just represents innovation. It represents thinking outside of the box. And when it comes to that, some people are not prepared. Some people are just super caught up on tradition. So that idea of doing things differently can cause some hesitance on people's ends. And the way that Saturn is, it changes these systems that we have in place. So these systems and the routines that we have, if we have to readapt them, it may feel super unconventional. It may feel even useless, or like, what's the purpose of this? And what I'm feeling called to say is, like, don't question it. Just don't question it, because it might not make sense to you now, but it will soon. So as a collective during this transit, we have to think unconventionally to make big change. So what we need in order for us to grow and evolve will most likely stray away from the way that we've been doing things. It's going to stray away from tradition. It's going to stray away from the way that our parents are doing things. In fact, during this transit, we're going to be reminded that tradition doesn't work for us anymore. Certain systems that we have in place are outdated. They don't align with where the world is going. They don't align with where we're going personally. It doesn't align with who we're becoming. It just doesn't align anymore. So because of that, like, certain traditions are just gonna be like, chuck the deuces, fuck you. It doesn't serve you anymore. Thank you. Aquarius is ruled by the internet, which is hilarious because, on a personal note, in tropical astrology, my Venus is in Aquarius and my partner's moon is in Aquarius. So, like, wouldn't it make sense that we met on Tinder? Wouldn't it make sense that we met online on a dating app? It makes sense that certain things that are valuable to me, I find online. I only online shop. Like, my life is based on pretty much, like, the internet. And it's kind of sad, but I kind of love it. So with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised that a lot more people start to learn their lessons digitally. And we're already starting to experience that. Like, we're seeing so many people being held accountable for their tweets or certain things that they've said in the past. And like I said, Saturn comes to teach us lessons. Saturn Saturn definitely comes to discipline us and teach us lessons. So some of those lessons are going to be through the internet. But also certain figures, it makes sense that like the president is being like, there's like this whole thing surrounding his tweets and how he uses his platform. That's going to be something that's going to happen often over, I think that the retrograde ends in September. It started last month and it ends in September, I believe. So from now until September, there probably will be a shift, or people being held accountable for how they use social media, how they use Twitter, Instagram, and like all those things. So this is definitely a time for you to also think about social media and the role that it plays in your life. Do you use it too much? Do you use it not enough? What are you gaining from it? Are you making money from it? Do you want to be making money from it? Do you no longer feel like you need social media? Is that what spirit is guiding you to? Do you feel like it doesn't align with who you're becoming? These are the things that are going to start coming to the surface for us over the course of the Saturn retrograde. So this is the time to evaluate your relationship with social media and how you use your platform overall. How do you use your platform? I also would not be surprised if certain social media platforms change like their interface and change the way that people connect. And I already started to see that because I went on Instagram the other day and I saw that you can basically have mini chat rooms, like mini Zoom readings. Like you can invite your friends into a room and you can all have like a collective video chat. And that alone is a product, an example of how Saturn can evolve us. Like, it's basically Zoom on Instagram. Like, some people are like, oh, I don't need it. But we were also like that about Instagram stories. And guess what? None of us fucking use Snapchat anymore. So you might not understand it now, but in the future you will see. So two examples that have just been so resonant for me has been Ethels. And I speak about Ethels often because I work with them often. In fact, this month I am going to be doing 2 more tarot events, Tarot Thursdays. So if you guys are a part of the Ethels community, then you totally should join me for Tarot Thursdays. Just a shameless plug. But it makes so much sense because Ethels was, it was a brick and mortar space. It wasn't a digital clubhouse. It was a physical clubhouse. And now the way that they've shifted into this digital community, it makes so much sense. It's that Saturn and Aquarius energy. It's innovative. It changes the way that we learn. It changes the way that we interact with each other. Instead of having like these workshops and spaces in person, they've taken it online. So now if you're a member, like, you have access to multiple workshops a day. So in just one day, you can have a tarot session with me, you can have a DJ set or a cooking lesson with someone else, and it's just like the way that we're sharing information, but also the way that we're connecting to each other is evolving. So over the next several months, I envision that certain businesses and brands are going to be inspired by that platform and be inspired by the way that they are cultivating community digitally and follow a similar structure. In fact, we might start to notice that certain brands or businesses are going to realize maybe their brick and mortar no longer makes sense for them, and they might shift to just exclusively online. So that's something that we'll start seeing too, especially like in the fashion industry. So there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs when it comes to sharing our ideas and sharing information with one another. And we'll be encouraged to create these innovative structures, like innovative work structures. So that might also mean too that over the next couple of months, some of us might not be going back to work. Literally, we might not be going back to physical work. Just from now on, you will just be working from home. And amazing, right? So another example that just I'm obsessed with is the designer Hanifa, this black woman-owned fashion brand that is just so amazing and needs all the attention, all the accolades, all the love. So let me tell you what Hanifa did. She basically did a 3D Instagram live fashion show, and that's a perfect example of how this transit is working. No one has ever done this before. No one, not one person has done this before. This could be the future of runway, and in fact, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, because Fashion Week, or more so Fashion Month, is in September. You know, you go to New York, you go to London, you go to Milan, and you go to Paris. And the way that it works is like, of course you go to fashion shows in person, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. But clothes are still selling. We still need fashions. So how are these designers going to, how are they going to share their work? How are they going to sell their work? There might be a different way for you to buy. I remember maybe a couple of years ago, Alexander Wang did this thing, and I think Tommy Hilfiger and a couple other brands did it. Usually, like, if you show fall winter that's in February, then you don't get it until like September. But what they started doing is you actually get it, like, once they show it off the runway, it's available. So I'm just interested to see like what this upcoming fashion month is going to look like. Something interesting to keep in mind, shout out to Chani Nichols. She shared that the last time Saturn was in Aquarius in 1991 to 93, apartheid was dismantled. The Saturn in Aquarius before that, because mind you, this transit does not happen often. The last time it was in 1991. So before that, Saturn in Aquarius was in 1962 to 1964. That was when the Civil Rights Act was passed. So note, although that was not an ultimate solution to racism, clearly it still evolved how we move and operate through the world and how we operate with each other. You know what I'm saying? So for those that are experiencing a Saturn return this year, like me, like, shit is going to be real. Like, when Saturn retrograde happens, like, there's this sense of karmic debt. So things from the place that we haven't held ourselves accountable for are going to come to the surface as a lesson that we need to learn. Some small lessons, some really big lessons, but they're all necessary for our growth. It could just be lessons on like where we need to have more structure in our lives, where we need to create more routines in our lives, where we need to buckle down on, and maybe some certain elements of our lives that we need to be more responsible about. This personal Saturn return is going to be a time of deep reprogramming and relearning ourselves. So I also envision that those of us that are experiencing Saturn returns, there's going to be a lot of inner child work that's happening. There might have been certain expectations or certain things that certain patterns or experiences that your parents kind of instilled in you, like this is how your life is supposed to go. And now that we're experiencing our Saturn returns, we're straying away from the tradition, and we're straying away from what was programmed within us, and really coming into ourselves and seeing, does that resonate with me? Do I believe in the idea of marriage? Do I want to have kids? For some of us, no, and that's okay too. And that's the beauty of Saturn, like understanding our needs, understanding like what aligns with us. So this is going to be a time of deep questioning every single thing. And when we question every single thing, there's a lot of discomfort in that, because the things that were learned are attached to our parents. So some of us feel like maybe we're disrespecting our parents by challenging this notion or questioning this. But no, that's not the case. You're just coming into yourself. We are coming into ourselves. So I just wanted to share a little bit on this Saturn retrograde in Aquarius and how we can use this energy, and just to make note of it. And I'm really interested to see like what's going to play out with us. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.